My sister-in-law asked to host her baby shower at my house. I agreed without hesitation, but then she tried to exclude me from my own home and it all backfired. So, I, 32 female, have been married for the past 3 years. My husband, 35 male, and I have been together for 5 years, but as of now, he has been living away from home for work. We're doing the long-distance thing, and he comes back every alternate weekend to spend some time at home. We have our own house that we bought a couple of months ago, just before he was about to leave. It's a really beautiful place, and it's close to my parents' house. So it's convenient for me to visit them, and for them to visit me. The architecture is beautiful. It's quite spacious as well, which suits me because, even though it's just me living in this house, I love the feeling. It's just a beautiful house in a really good neighborhood, and I like living here. When I threw my housewarming party, I also got a lot of compliments for it. Before we had even unpacked or decorated the house properly, of all the people who seemed to like this house the most was my sister-in-law, Carrie, 32 female, since she wouldn't stop gushing about it. She and I don't have a close friendship, but I would say that we have always been on good terms. So, a couple of weeks back, when she asked me if I would allow her to throw her baby shower in my house, I agreed without hesitation. Even though we are not close, there were a couple of reasons due to which I agreed. The first was that she was pregnant, and I didn't want to say no to that. I also spent a lot of time alone in my house, so I thought it would be nice to meet a couple of new people and have a change of scenery for once. I even took a day off and everything. And the reason was that she insisted that she wanted to have the event at my house because she did not want to shell out an extravagant amount of money to rent a venue, especially when I had such a beautiful home. Her own house was pretty, but it was not nearly as nice as the place that I lived in, and it was kind of smaller as well. I guess the flattery kind of worked on me because I couldn't bring myself to say no, and to be honest, I did not have any reason to say no because she had always been nice to me. So I agreed. I honestly did not have any clue as to what was about to come because even while we were planning the whole thing, she did not indicate anything that would tell me that I was not exactly welcome at this baby shower. I was part of the entire planning process, and she would visit me almost every other day for the past 2 weeks so that we could sit and discuss what we wanted to do, from the catering and the menu to the decorations. I was part of every bit of the planning, and I was actually looking forward to this event as well. I had thought that this experience would help us bond together even better, but at the very last minute, I was left shocked. On the day of the event, I helped the decorators set up the place about an hour before the guests were supposed to start arriving. Around 45 minutes before the event was supposed to begin, Carrie showed up and thanked me for everything. Even then, she was acting absolutely normally and was speaking to me like a friend. However, just 15 minutes before the guests were supposed to start arriving according to the time on the invites, she turned around and asked me where I was going to spend the next couple of hours. I was a little thrown off, and I actually thought that she was joking when she asked me that question, because it was literally my house that she was throwing a baby shower in. Obviously, I had assumed that I would be there. I had even dressed accordingly and had bought her a gift as well. So, I asked if she was joking, and with a very serious face, she told me that she was not. She told me a couple of pretty valid points, which had not occurred to me because I was too busy helping her. Carrie told me that I had not received an invitation, and I hadn't even been on the guest list. But honestly, I had noticed those things. I had just not minded it because I thought it was taken for granted that I would be invited and I would be a part of this event because I had helped to plan it. And I was even allowing her to throw it in my house without having to pay for a venue. I think anybody in my place would have assumed the same things, and she and I did not have a particularly bad relationship either, so why on earth would I assume that I would not be part of the event? I told her these very things, and she told me that she was sorry about the misunderstanding, but she had just presumed that I was trying to help her out in a professional capacity, which didn't even make sense because my profession was not party planner or event organizer. I'm a banker. This has nothing to do with my profession, so I don't know why she would assume that, of all things. Anyway, I was feeling really upset, and it was showing up on my face, I guess. So, after a while, she told me that she did not want to argue with me because this was not the time for petty bickering. And she did not want to get stressed out because she was pregnant as well. So she told me that I had to leave because this event was actually only meant for close family and her immediate friend circle. A very selective group of people was allowed to be present here because she wanted this to be small and intimate, and unfortunately I did not make the cut. She told me to leave before the guests started arriving because she did not want to make a scene, and this argument was getting her upset. I was really pissed off, so I left the room in a huff and decided to call up my husband immediately to complain to him about what his sister had just done. I was in the backyard at the time because I did not know where else to go. I tried calling my husband, but he was busy with work and was in a meeting at the time, so he could not answer the phone or text me about it. I was really pissed off, so I decided to do something a little unorthodox, and I decided to call her husband instead. Carrie's husband, Jim, 33, male, has been with her for the past 4 years, and they have been married for 2. I haven't interacted much with the guy, but he is a generally quiet, reserved person. After the incident took place and she told me to leave my own house, I was really upset, and I wanted to get back at her. So, I decided to call him and tell him everything. He heard me out, and he did not say anything for a while after I was done ranting. I told him that I was really sorry for telling him all of this, but I was just really disappointed about how I was being treated. And since I couldn't speak to her at the risk of upsetting a pregnant woman, I was telling him what happened, so maybe he would talk to her later and speak some sense into her. He apologized to me on her behalf, and that kind of calmed me down. He then told me that I did not need to leave my house because that would be ridiculous and he would be coming over in a few minutes. All I had to do was wait until then because he did not want any argument breaking out between the two of us because then we'd upset each other, and he did not want that. I thought that was reasonable. I waited 15 minutes, and before the first guests even arrived, Jim showed up at my house. Carrie was kind of shocked to see him, and as soon as I heard the doorbell ring, I went inside my house. The 3 of us stood there in the living room, and Jim intervened and told me that I could obviously attend the baby shower and that I did not need to leave. Carrie tried to protest, but he just glared at her, and she kept her mouth shut after that. She kept glaring at me throughout the time that we spent there, and I made up my mind I would never interact with her ever again. I even had half a mind to cancel the baby shower, but I did not do that since I had put in a lot of effort into planning this event, and I did not want that to go to waste. Besides, after Jim had arrived, I did not have the heart to do that, and I did not feel that it was necessary either. So I decided in my head that I would just let the evening take its course, and after we were done with the baby shower, I would just stop speaking to Carrie. I maintained my grace and dignity throughout. I can't say the same for her, though. Anyway, after the baby shower was over, Jim once again apologized to me for everything, while Carrie refused to even look at me. And he apologized for that as well, since I was getting an unnecessary amount of attitude from her because she believed that I did not belong at the event and I had forced my way in. It was really frustrating to even witness, but at least the whole ordeal was over after that. And once they left, I finally called my husband up and told him everything in detail. He was outraged and he wanted to have a word with his sister, but I told him not to bother, at least that evening, because that would only make things worse and would lead to more heated arguments, and that's the last thing that I wanted. I just wanted a bit of peace. But I guess that's not in the cards for me, at least as of now, because the very next morning I received a call from my in-laws and they were really pissed off. They told me that after the baby shower, once Carrie and her husband had reached home, they had gotten into a huge fight about what I had said. And now Jim had decided to leave and was refusing to speak to Carrie or even anybody else from her family, including my in-laws. This was unheard of because, from what we knew, Jim had a really good relationship with his in-laws as they were old family friends of his parents. But now, after the fight that they had had, his entire family had blocked them on social media and everywhere else, so it was very clear that they did not want to interact with them. I honestly did not understand what I had to do with any of this, but my in-laws and Carrie apparently believed that if I had just sucked it up and decided to do what Carrie had told me to, they could not be in this situation in the first place. I thought that it was outrageous that they were trying to pin the blame for this on me, since it was so obvious that it was Carrie's fault and I had nothing to do with any of this. So, I ended up lashing out at them, and I told them that I was not going to take the blame for this because I knew very well that it was not my fault. It was Carrie who had been ungrateful to me, because I had very graciously allowed her to throw the baby shower in my house free of cost. But instead of respecting that and respecting the relationship that we have, she decided to humiliate me by telling me that I couldn't attend an event that was being hosted in my own house and wanted me to leave because apparently she did not think I was close enough as a member of her family. I also ended up telling them that had my husband been around, she would not have dared to try and pull something like this off. I had no regrets about telling her husband about what she had been trying to do because he was the only level-headed person in the situation. And if he had decided that he had had enough and wanted to leave, I was sure that he was making the right decision because I trusted his judgment. So, I was not going to try and do anything to fix the situation because I did not think I did anything wrong. And I also did not believe that Jim was doing anything wrong. And if he wanted to get a divorce, he had my support. I was not going to talk to him or take anything back, so if my in-laws were calling me to tell me that they wanted me to speak to him and fix this, they would have to be disappointed because I was not doing any of that. After saying that, I hung up, and since then, we haven't spoken, but they have been doing their best to try and get me to respond to them. It's been 2 days, and while I haven't blocked them yet, I am considering it because they keep telling me that whatever problems there were, it was between me and Carrie. And I had no reason to involve him in this. I don't understand where that's coming from because, even if it's between me and Carrie, it was my decision to tell her husband about it. And since he's part of the family as well, I thought he should have known. I don't think I did anything wrong by ratting her out because she was behaving badly with me, and she was being ungrateful. I thought her husband deserved to know how she was acting, since I knew that he was a rational person and would do something about it. They are trying their best to manipulate the facts, and trying their best to make me feel bad about it, but I can't help it. I don't feel bad in the slightest about what's happening to her. And they keep reiterating the fact that now, just because of my decision, her future child might grow up without a father figure in their life. I honestly think that it's a bit of a stretch, but that's how they're putting it, and I don't even know what to say to that. The only reason I haven't blocked them yet is because of the way that they're saying things, and it's kind of forcing me to second-guess myself, even though my husband does not think I did anything wrong. He's told me that he's going to try and talk to his parents and make them realize that this was not my fault, it was Carrie's, and if anything, they should be talking to her about it and being there for her instead of trying to attack me. Right now, I have no idea how to go about the situation. I don't feel sorry, but judging by the way that they are acting right now, I don't think that they will drop this anytime soon. And I just feel like getting this over with. I also don't even know why Carrie did what she did, so I don't have any answers at the moment. AITA for involving my sister-in-law's husband in our argument and telling him how she was acting? Update 1. Hello, I'm back here, and now it has been almost 1 week since the baby shower. Carrie and Jim are still getting divorced, and it's final now. She hasn't commented on it yet publicly, but he has announced it on social media, so that's big news. I didn't think that it was going to happen so soon, but apparently he's already filed the petition, and they're going to start proceedings pretty soon. They have been living separately since Jim moved back in with his parents from what I know. I managed to speak to him. Even though I did not think it would be appropriate after everything that had happened because I was kind of feeling like I was guilty. But after discussing it with my husband, he thought that at least somebody from our family should reach out to him, and he and I were the only 2 people that had not been blocked. So obviously that meant that he was keeping these avenues open in case we wanted to speak to him. So I decided to reach out to him, and I said that I was sorry about everything that was happening, but I did not make it sound like an apology, I just made it sound like I was sorry in general. In spite of that, I guess he was able to tell that I was feeling guilty about it, and so he told me that I did not have to blame myself or beat myself up about it. He had been on the edge for quite some time. After a lot of hesitation, I texted him back and asked him what was going on because I felt that I deserved to get some answers as well, and boy did I. I got all the answers that I had been looking for. We hopped onto a call and I told him that I wanted to know more about what was going on. And he felt like I deserved some answers as well because I had absolutely no idea why Carrie would not want me to attend the baby shower. As far as I knew, she had only cited one reason as to why she did not want me to be there, and that was that she only wanted close family to be part of the event. But at the same time, she had invited a lot of people who, to my knowledge, were not exactly close to her, and I had been through the guest list. I knew that there were a lot of people who were going to be in attendance. It just didn't make sense as to why I would not be part of those people, since I did not have anything against those people, and, to my knowledge, neither did they. And then Jim told me that the real reason she did not want me there was because she had expected one of her friends to attend, whom she was trying to impress quite desperately. This friend of hers had married into quite a rich industrialist family, and now that Carrie was planning on starting her own business just a couple of months after her baby was born, she wanted to convince her friend's husband to invest in her business. She was doing everything in her power to impress this woman, and in order to do that, she had hosted the baby shower at my place, and she planned on telling everyone that it was her house. Obviously, she could not do that if I was around, and that's why she had wanted me out. But I had fought back, and she hadn't accounted for that. However, luckily, her friend felt sick that day and was not able to attend the event at all. But it did not absolve her of the fact that she had tried to be sneaky. And when they had gotten home, he had confronted her about what she had said to me, and she had told him that she had only wanted me to stay out of the event because she wanted to impress her friend and she did not want to acknowledge that the house did not belong to her. And she was acting as if all of this was totally normal, going out of her way to pretend to have a life that she did not really live just to impress somebody she went to school with. Jim told her that it was not okay for her to act this way, and that she needed to apologize to me because I had been gracious and she had just humiliated me. But she refused to acknowledge the fact that what she did was wrong and got into a fight with him. They had been having a lot of problems because of this pretentious thing that she was doing, and apparently, this was not even the first time that she had been caught trying to be somebody who she was not. From what Jim told me, I gathered that apparently they had been having problems like these for the past couple of years. Shortly after they got married, something had gotten into her, and ever since their wedding, she had started doing this thing where she was trying to live beyond their means and show everybody that they were rich and led a luxurious life, just to impress people who did not count. Apparently, some of her friends had made weird comments about the arrangements at her wedding, and I guess that had really gotten under her skin. But she is a grown woman. She should not be petty. She should not let petty things like that bother her. And she should have just cut these friends off because they are not real friends if they make fun of your lifestyle and what you can afford. Besides, it's not even like the two of them are living in squalor. They just have a normal life, and maybe they cannot afford extravagant things, but I still think they have it pretty good. Jim is a real estate agent, and Carrie is currently employed at a marketing firm, but she plans on starting her own business after the baby's born. All the more reason for her to be saving money instead of spending it. They are comfortable, not wealthy, but that's completely fine, and I don't think that it's anybody else's business. And Carrie does not need to impress anyone. Jim had tried to explain these things to Carrie several times, but it just didn't make any difference to her. And she just kept going out of her way to do weird things in order to impress the people around her, which had been causing a lot of problems between the two of them in the past few years. He had always let it go because he loved her so much. But in the last few months, it had become more and more difficult for him to let things slide because they also had to think about their future child now. And it would not be possible if she just kept spending money like it meant nothing, especially given their financial status when it did mean something, and they could not afford the kind of lifestyle that she wanted. She kept buying and purchasing things without even bothering to consult him, and he was getting sick of it. They had been fighting about things like this too frequently anyway, and after the fight after the baby shower, Jim decided that he could not take it anymore and decided to leave. He told me that even if I hadn't called him up that day, at the rate that things were going in their marriage, he might have made this decision sooner or later anyway, so I did not need to feel sorry about what I did. I talked to my husband about this as well, and he said that while he was sorry that all of this was happening to Carrie, he could not say that he felt that it was unjustified in any way whatsoever. We did not know Jim was a friend, but we knew that he had been a good husband to Carrie so far, and if he had made the decision to leave, I'm sure that he would have thought things through. I do feel bad for Carrie as well because I know this can't be easy to deal with while she's pregnant, but honestly, she dug this grave for herself. I don't know what kind of grown woman cares about what a few irrelevant, gossipy, vapid friends of hers think about her lifestyle. She is in her 32nd. I think she should leave this high school stuff behind. I'm going to hope that they can talk to each other and work it out, but for Jim's sake, I hope that they get to spend some time away from each other and decide what they want to do about it. Anyway, I'm not going to get caught up in all of this, and I'm going to try my best to stay away from these people for now because I think they have a lot on their plate as it is. I'm going to block both Carrie and my in-laws because I don't think I have anything left to say to them at this point, and I hope that they are able to work through things. Maybe the divorce will get called off, or maybe not. I don't know what's going to happen with them because Jim has announced a divorce, like I had mentioned in this post earlier. But while we were talking, he still sounded very upset about things, and I was getting this feeling that maybe he wanted to sort things out with her and wanted to give her a chance. But she was just being so stubborn about everything that he was finding it so hard to do so. Now, this might be a controversial opinion, but I think they should at least try to work things out, and maybe she should go to therapy or something. Because it's not normal to be acting this way in your 30 seconds trying to impress people who don't even matter. All I know is that I would want things to work out for the sake of their child. Growing up as a child of divorce is never easy, and I don't think I would want that for my future niece or nephew, so for their sakes, I hope it works out between the two of them. I'll keep you guys posted on that, but for now, I'm just going to stay out of all of this and hope for the best. And my husband is also going to do the same thing. We are going to meet this weekend because he's coming back home, but this time I don't think he's going to be visiting his parents. I'm just happy that I don't have anything to feel guilty about anymore. Update 2. Hi, so my husband returned a couple of hours ago, and we have been talking. He told me that he has stayed in touch with Jim, and the two of them have been talking for the past couple of days. Jim has made it very clear that if Carrie apologizes to him for everything and agrees to go to therapy, he is ready to give their marriage a second chance. So now my husband is trying to communicate that to his sister, but he hasn't received an answer so far, and his parents have told him that she's just avoiding speaking to anybody at the moment because she's very upset and needs some time to herself. So, I guess everybody's giving her the space she needs right now. I don't know what decision she's going to make, but I hope she makes a wise choice. And about the last post here, people were calling me selfish because you guys thought that my husband and I were being greedy by not helping Jim and Carrie. First of all, I don't even know how many of you came to that conclusion, but let me just clarify that we got this house at a good price, which is why we were able to purchase it. If it had been out of budget, we would not have purchased it. Secondly, Jim and Carrie are in a perfectly stable financial position, and I don't think they would appreciate us treating them like they needed our charity. Besides, my husband and I are also kind of in the same bracket as them, so I don't know why they would need our help or vice versa. That's just weird and irrelevant, but since some of you guys brought it up, I felt like I had to clarify. Some of you also did not appreciate the fact that I said that I wanted the two of them to work things out and get back together because you guys believe that Jim deserves better. And well, maybe he does, but it's his choice at the end of the day. I don't understand why so many of you want to spew hate on here and call me all sorts of names and call Jim a doormat without even knowing the kind of person that he is. They love each other in spite of the problems that they're having right now. They are going to have a baby together. I think that's a pretty big deal. They can't just dump each other and go on with their lives given the circumstances. So yes, I did, and still do hope that they are able to work things out. I think that's all that I have to say for now. Update 3, hello. It has been almost 3 weeks since I got on here last, and I just wanted to tell you guys that Jim and Carrie have decided to patch things up and work it out. I'm really happy for them, even though I'm still not on speaking terms with Carrie. But I got to know from my husband that the two of them have decided that they are going to go for marriage counseling for a couple of months and see how it goes. They are still going to continue living separately, and once the baby's born, they are going to co-parent for the first few months, and then if everything goes well, they are going to move back in together. And that's how it's going to be. I'm happy for them. I know that this is not something that a lot of you wanted, and most people actually wanted Jim to leave Carrie. But lucky for him, he's going to do what's right for him, and everybody else just has to deal with it.